lovelies. I vibe you, lovelies. So it's love. And just, oh my gosh, I still am just loving how every time I touch some water. I just actually got out of the shower. I am going to be braiding my hair in a moment. Had just such an amazing opening and epiphany. And like the connection of the questions that I had been asking previously just came so simply and easily. So right before I got in the shower, one of the attorneys that I reached out about the case responded, and I appreciate their, quick, simple response. At the same time, it was obviously from a place of closed fearfulness, which, of course, one thing, I experienced that same thing with the doctors who actually have shared some information, actually an affirmation of my quote-unquote medical disability, which I'm actually just loving and just, giggling at, like, really enjoying that, realizing that one of, what I thought was one of the more traumatic experiences in my life is turning out to be so helpful. Oh my goodness, this car accident thing, oh my gosh, who would have known 27 years later what a benefit it would be. Pardon me. And my system is like, yeah, and so part of us vibes and part of us is still like, sure. So anyway, in regard, I don't even know if I've even clarified that the car accident, I broke my nose and deviated my septum, and that's what this whole situation is about. My inability to wear the, quote-unquote standard mask for a long period of time without developing congestion, sneezing, headaches, and potentially sinus infections and yada yada. So, but anyway, so when I saw the attorney's response, first of all, I was so proud of myself to like vibe into it from a place of appreciation, and also just really just affirmation and excitement of like, okay, yeah, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. Because even people like doctors and attorneys tend to respond from a fanatical, religious, closed place. So it's like, yeah, everyone, including those who are deemed to be in positions where, their job would generally entail being really open, can still be in that space. So it was really fun to like vibe into that. So I was really excited to first that be my initial responses. And so I was like, okay, responded to her and just kind of moved on. But part of me was like, okay, so, I still feel like it's possible that I might end up utilizing a couple of different attorneys. I know I have lots of different options in regards to that, but as part of me was just like, okay, well, it's possible I might end up handling the cases myself. Okay, golden. But then my own fear set in, like, whoa, that's like not even just like the fear of like, the research and the writing and what I'm capable of. That wasn't it at all, because I told you I feel quite comfortable and confident. But what came up was like, whoa, time-wise, I was like, whoa, that's 2 cases. Not only 2 cases, but 2 cases against one super huge, one of the biggest corporations in the world. And against their attorney team. And then the other one, fairly large, but still was like their attorney team at the same time. And then on top of that, okay, yeah, still living and, rent and, food and, just, enjoying my life, being me, my meditating, enjoying spending time with my roommates and connecting and gardening and exercising and like, my art and like all these different things. I was like, whoa, time. That'll be interesting. So what I realized is I was like, oh, that's the answer to the question, what is the link for me in regards to money and connections and relationships? It's a question of time. And I realized that's exactly what my father would have felt. And first and foremost, I'm laughing because I'm talking about these cases. One of them is currently being handled by a government entity. And one thing, I'm not being specific because I don't feel like the specifics are important right now, but Sue, in how I've handled it, I may have signed some sort of non-disclosure agreements. I'm not even aware. That's a part of the thing. I was like, oh, I gotta look in to see what my what I can share, what I can't share. Particularly if I'm looking at the possibility of sharing the stories with the media. I'm not even sure if I can do that at this point, obviously. So it's kind of like, oh, just even doing the research in that. Oh my gosh, that might take a lot of time. So but I realized, I was like, oh, this is exactly what my system currently sees as the quote unquote problem between people and money, and or staying connected with people and the ability to generate money. And that my dad, and well, first and foremost, the thing is that it's like, first and foremost, you make choices. So what I realized is my dad would have felt, literally, I felt exactly what my dad would have felt shortly after, and probably most of my life, matter of fact, after his divorce with my mom and him taking on full custody and responsibility for us. But probably how he felt pretty much the rest of his life and our life with him, in that he one was working a full-time job with the government, which this is what I find intriguing, in that I'm kind of actually doing something similar to him. He was an investigator. So part of being, handling this case is doing a whole lot of research and investigations, and being able, him, of course, in his investigation role, he would have provided, oh my gosh, what's the proper term? Oh my gosh, I can't even think of evidence. I guess we'll say evidence, or like opinions, as an investigator, an opinion about a particular case, or his findings. He would have been providing a lot of different findings. So it's kind of funny that I'm realizing I'm potentially going to be doing the same thing, and writing responses and providing evidence and things. Like, he would have done the exact very similar thing. So that's, providing evidence, just like I'll be providing evidence. So it's quite interesting. He, of course, having his full-time job, like I was saying, and then deciding to go back and get his bachelor's, like right after they got divorced. He decided to take on, of course, he decided to, have this job, decided to go back and get his bachelor's, and decided to take on full responsibility for raising, nurturing, caring for my brother and I's young twins, who were going through a lot. So not only did we need the normal amount of nurturing, we would have actually needed a whole lot more, just per the experience. And then, of course, he socialized and dated and things like that. So I just could, and now I realize, now understanding a little more why he drank. I think it was just to be able to just handle the sheer level of overwhelmedness from his responsibility, which first and foremost were choices, though. Like, that's something I'm totally realizing. Just like with I chose to file these two cases right at the same time. I chose, continuing to choose to work and different things, and choose to want to, do certain things. So first and foremost was like, okay, that's like 100. So first thing is just really open to is just like, first and foremost, realizing, one, we make choices in regards to our time and what we prioritize. Two, we have a lot more time than we oftentimes vibe, because it's about prioritizing, about choices, about effectivity. And that's something that I'm like totally vibing in. And that's one reason I'm realizing, like, my choices in connections and communication and sharing really make a lot of sense. Where it's like, let's go straight to the root of it, the emotions of it, share and keep it popping. So I'm realizing why that's going to make a whole lot of sense now. Also, the reality of what I was, I don't know if I was even, I think I shared this a little bit in the last video, where with my root chakra, realizing that we're infinite. So we have an infinite amount of time. So it's like, yeah, this whole concept of not having enough time was definitely something I just learned from him and his choices doing this particular, during that experience. And it's like, that's not for me. That's not my truth. And I was like, okay, I get to, know that, vibe that, be that. And I'm super excited to have the opportunity to evolve what he shared with me and what he did. So yeah, super amazingly excited. And also knowing that in doing that, not only would be such a huge evolution for me and my lineage, what I learned, but also it'll make such a much more of an epic story. Like, this sister was going through all this, did all this, and still handled it like a boss. So I'm super excited about that potential and possibility. Oh yeah. So what was it? There was one other part about this in regards to the evolution of it. Oh, and the other part is just also opening up to the magic, and also knowing that there's so many different possibilities and options. So recently, and just in regards to like how, you know, we co-create money. So recently I had an experience where, or recently I've had several experiences. I know I've shared some with you just how money just has been popping in my account, like for real. In the last few months, it's just been quite a bit. And I recently had the most intriguing experience with where I was just like, whoa, that came way out of left field. I was so not even, had no vibes about, well, I had some vibes, but not not a lot of vibes about it in advance, where I had done something for someone, had asked me to do something, and I did it, and I just kind of stayed open about, you know, whether they were going to offer a reciprocation or anything. I'm just like, all right, cool, you know, kind of let the person know afterwards, when the person bragged to me about how they had just gotten, so I did the service for free. They bragged to me about how they had gotten the service for free, and I kind of was just like, okay, and I'm just let you know there was a possibility for you to offer reciprocation or whatever, and left it at that. The next day, the universe was like, yo, got you here. And just threw some money in my account. So it was such a great reminder of just being really super open, about how we co-create income. And of course, realize that in particular in regards to this topic about income for the tribe and the island, and just seeing, you know, just being really, really open about how that happens. Like, super excited about that. So, yeah. So, anyway, y'all, super excited. About to go braid my hair and get some sun. So, love y'all. Thanks for being y'all. And I'm going to stop at 11:55. Bliss.